here on this planet were, mistaken as UFOs. I mean, that's...
They could be, but we do have, and there is an alien base. There's one in Australia. There is one at Area 51. There is one at Richfield, Utah. There is one in Jordan near Israel. There is one in Australia. Now, what's interesting, these bases, they go to the center of the earth. We had an Admiral Byrd that wrote a book called The Hollow Earth. During World War II, he chased the Nazis because what happened was Tesla, Nikola Tesla, our scientist that worked with Einstein and worked with the one that Einstein and the one that created, electricity. What was his name? The light bulb,
Edison.
He worked with them. He was very famous. You can go to the Tesla Society in Colorado Springs. There's a museum there. He has his free energy machine. He found out by taking two pieces of round wood, turning them the opposite way by placing magnets on them, he could create free energy. We have that today. The U.S. government has free energy. They use it at various test sites. Even Area 51's got their own generation of technology. He found by cranking this up to a higher speed, these disks, that it became anti-gravity. That's where the saucers came from. That's where HAARP has come from. That's, he created a tower in Colorado Springs. Anyone that could get, I don't know whether you've ever heard of the Philadelphia experiment, but go to Blockbuster or wherever and get the videotape and look at it. Time travel, it's real. We have a problem today. It's very bad. And the problem is these superconductors. There's one over in Switzerland that they're able to look into time. They're able to transfer into the past. They're able to go into the future. We have parallels in things that's so far off the charts that people couldn't even believe it. I've been told this by scientists, some of the top in our country. I'm aware of things.
I would bet that a lot of people would like to have some of those right about now.
I'll tell you what. The key to this country, and this is something everybody listening, we have a president of the United States that doesn't know what the hell is going on. He's naive. He's surrounded by Israeli Mossad Rahm Emanuel, the head of the North American Mossad desk. They've infiltrated us. They're bleeding us dry. They use this country to its max. They think they're the chosen people and some special people. They refer to us, many of the Israelis in America refer to us as Goyism, the Gentiles. They've rejected God over the years. They've been punished. The Bible pretty much speaks it. I don't have to speak it. But we got the North American desk as his head chief of staff. We got Mega Mossad Hillary Clinton. Mega Mossad, parading around as a U.S. Senator, First Lady, and all the other crap, and now Secretary of State. She blackmailed her way into the Secretary of State's office. Why? Barack Obama had two homosexual affairs that they're aware of. One was with Reverend Wright, and the other was with Larry Sinclair.
Wait a minute. Where do you get this stuff from?
I'm aware through U.S. intelligence that has pictures. They also monitored Hillary Clinton. They helped destroy Hillary Clinton in the election by exposing her. And also the fact that they had monitored and have been monitoring her for a long time of her illegal activities. And they found out just 2 weeks after the election that Hillary Clinton, before they announced, it was actually about 6 weeks before he announced that he was going to make her Secretary of State, she blackmailed her way into the Secretary of State's position by using that information against Barack Obama and providing him pictures that they had of him and Larry Sinclair, and also about his former cocaine use. So he makes her Secretary of State. They also put this Eric Holder in as Attorney General, who was the one that was the cover-up meister on Mark Rich, who had ties back to my ex-in-laws and also to the Bushes. And Mark Rich was the one that ripped off the country. He was Mega Mossad. And they blackmailed to put Rahm Emanuel in, to keep the Israeli control, to put Hillary in so she could report back to Daddy Bush and the crime syndicate, who's her boss, and third, to put Eric Holder in there to continue the cover-up. The United States Department of Justice, every attorney general since 1981, has been a cover-up meister for the Bush crime syndicate. If you go to my website, you look under my grand jury filings, you will see I have named former attorney generals because I have proof and evidence that they covered up major crimes for my ex-in-laws. Kennedy, you just heard the tape talk about secret societies. Leonard Millman was part of that Illuminati, Knights Templar bankers. That's what Kennedy talked about, the secret societies. And who do they answer to? They answer to the devil. They answer to the fallen angels. The fallen angels are here on this planet. God cast them out. There was a war in heaven, and they're down here on this planet, and they're flying around in flying saucers. And anybody who doesn't believe it, that's okay. Go out there and do your research and look at what is out there. Look at the Nicole Tesla stuff.
If we may, I'd like to continue on with the Kennedys, if you don't mind. I find this whole entire matter of how these New World Order thugs have just literally decimated this entire family. Can you give us a rundown on what happened with John Kennedy Jr.? I know it's on your website.
I've done a story up there, and basically what it is they killed him because he was going to run for the United States Senate against Hillary Clinton. She needed that Senate slot. She as a stepping stone for the presidency, because in the year 2000 she wanted to run. She wanted to be put in place, and nobody wanted the Clintons in there. They had enough of them. They heard about too much of the crimes, the cover-ups, and everything else, and they wanted them out. They actually tried to destroy Al Gore, and it was in the Buddhist temple cover-up stuff. There's some stories in there that we've written massive amount about that. They did everything to derail Al Gore, and they actually worked with the Bushes to continue the Bush Clinton crime syndicate, as we've referred to it as, etc. But they murdered Kennedy, and I had a Division IV hitman who later became INTERPOL, part of INTERPOL, who investigated, who was one of the ones that chased down the Green River murderer and so forth, had been tracking murderers worldwide for the U.S. government. He was a family friend, indirectly related, fourth cousin to the Kennedys. I've known him several years. He provided me. He decided to come public because of the other INTERPOL agents that were involved in the investigation of the assassination of John F. Kennedy Jr. They provided this information. We put it in story form. It was the first time any one of them came public about it. He didn't come public. He did it underneath a fictitious name with Tom Flacco, and he wrote the story. And he put the Interpol and detailed what had happened. But it was a phone call. This has been verified. I can't get into the specifics of it, but in New Jersey, grand jury heard this case, indicted certain parties without mentioning their names for the murder of John F. Kennedy Jr., and those are under seal. They were pushed up to the U.S. Justice Department to be released, and of course, once again, the Attorney General of the United States at the time, before Alberto Gonzales, this little puke from Missouri, Ashcroft, the one that runs around and parades around as a minister. That puke covered that evidence up, along with all these other crimes, just like every one of them that have been Attorney General since 1981 have done nothing but obstruct justice and commit treason and sedition against the American people and the United States of America. There are so many indictments against these people that I'm aware of that are there, just like the 10 U.S. attorneys. They have them indicted for treason and sedition, and they fired them. 3 U.S. attorneys have been killed, and I have the stories up there on my front page of my website, reminding people just here a couple days ago, because Karl Rove has been subpoenaed. Nobody wants to talk about the 3 murdered U.S. attorneys, but a friend of mine, who I've come to know, a whistleblower, his attorney was actually disbarred because they filed against him, because they stole $950 billion out of the Medicare Medicaid system through General Electric and U.S. Bank, involving the Bushes and Jeb Bush and George Herbert Walker Bush. And they murdered 3